In the shifting sands of Port Charles, where alliances are fragile and victories are fleeting, Monday's events brought both celebration and suspicion as the future of Drew Kane seemed temporarily secured, yet silently threatened beneath the surface. In a surprising turn, Martin Gray brought encouraging news that lifted Drew's spirits. The formidable Tracy Quartermaine had agreed to a negotiated deal, a move that seemingly absolved Drew of lingering accusations and paved the way for a major press conference to publicly restore his reputation. The timing could not have been more perfect for Drew, who seized the moment to propose to Willow Tate. To his delight, she accepted, ushering in a momentary wave of optimism. But beneath Drew's polished exterior and Willow's cautious smile, the foundation was already beginning to crack. Not everyone was on board with the whirlwind engagement. Nina Reeves, ever watchful and emotionally entangled in Willow's life, saw the decision as reckless. Her instincts warned her that Willow, still reeling from the betrayals of the past year, was being swept up into a future she didn't fully choose. Nina couldn't shake the sense that Drew was guiding, even scripting, Willow's path forward with an invisible hand of control. Determined not to let her daughter make what she saw as a catastrophic mistake, Nina confronted Willow privately, pleading with her to reconsider the marriage. But Willow, torn between the illusion of stability Drew offered and the inner chaos she couldn't quite articulate, offered no definitive answer, only the polite nod of someone too tired to fight but not yet fully surrendered. Meanwhile, back in the powerful corridors of the Quartermaine estate, Tracy was preparing for a very different confrontation. With Brooke Lynn by her side, Tracy wrestled with the bitter taste of compliance. Agreeing to Drew's terms had not come easily, and despite public perception, she hadn't suddenly become one of his champions. Brooke Lynn, anxious to protect her grandmother and desperate to see the Quartermaine name restored, pushed for public closure. She urged Tracy to attend the scheduled press conference, reasoning that it was the only way to end the narrative that she'd been involved in framing Drew. Tracy, sensing that silence would imply guilt, reluctantly agreed. What no one at the press conference would know, however, was that Tracy's outward cooperation masked a private conspiracy. Along with Curtis Ashford, who'd lost more than just professional credibility because of Drew's previous maneuvers, she had quietly resumed an effort to expose him. Curtis, while publicly reconciliatory, carried private scars that Drew had helped deepen, especially involving his fractured marriage with Portia Robinson. At the Metro Court pool, Curtis shared quiet memories with Jordan Ashford, and their nostalgic conversation revealed not only unresolved emotion but also the quiet emergence of a renewed alliance. As Jordan laughed softly at his jokes and Portia looked on from a distance, a storm brewed behind her eyes, confirming that the past never stays buried in Port Charles. While the adults played games of public redemption and private revenge, younger hearts were entangled in their own ethical dilemmas. Trina Robinson had grown increasingly wary of Drew's influence over Kai Taylor. When Kai confessed that he had accepted a paid internship that Drew had offered, Trina's suspicion morphed into disappointment. She didn't want to control Kai's choices, but she couldn't ignore the sinking feeling that the internship was more manipulation than mentorship. Kai insisted it was a strategic opportunity and assured her that it would not require relocating to Washington, D.C., but Trina couldn't shake the feeling that the arrangement reeked of orchestration. Though Kai believed he was acting independently, Trina saw the signs of Drew's persuasive tactics. Her smile was polite, but her heart was aching. As the news of Willow's engagement spread across town, the emotional fallout reached Michael Corinthos, who found himself caught between principle and heartbreak. Carly Spencer, always a step ahead, challenged him to be honest about his feelings. Could he truly envision a future where Willow was entirely cut off from their children? Michael admitted that his distrust of Drew was the real issue. He didn't feel safe with Amelia and Wiley around a man who wielded so much quiet control. Yet the idea of permanently exiling Willow from their lives made his stomach churn. Carly pushed him further, asking what he would do if Willow married Drew and never looked back. It was a question Michael hadn't been ready to face, but now, it echoed in his mind with increasing urgency. In the end, the stage was set for another collision of broken loyalties and half-truths. Willow and Michael were slated to meet at the Quartermain mansion, a space that once held the promise of family but now echoed with tension. Michael, battling the pain of betrayal and the responsibility of parenthood, walked into that meeting with heavy steps. Willow, clinging to the illusion of peace that her engagement to Drew offered, arrived with rehearsed poise but an uncertain heart. Neither of them would leave the conversation unchanged. For Drew, the day ended in triumph, or so he believed. His name had been cleared in the public eye, he had secured a commitment from Willow, and he had momentarily silenced the doubters. But the true danger wasn't what had been said, it was what had been withheld. Tracy and Curtis continued their silent offensive. Nina waited for a moment to rescue Willow from herself. Trina struggled with the knowledge that those she trusted were being quietly pulled into Drew's orbit. And Michael, always the tactician, began to map a world where trust and betrayal were no longer binary but part of a tangled equation of love and protection. General Hospital had witnessed many battles before, but this one, driven by silent wars, whispered regrets, and smiles that masked strategy, was far from over. The facade of peace Drew had built was crumbling at the corners, and the people around him were quietly picking up the pieces to use as weapons. As Monday's episode closed, one truth became unavoidable. The fallout from Drew's apparent success would be far more explosive than any of his failures.